So when I first came to Portugal, it was in 2017. There was a big congress, diabetes congress in Parque das Nações. And that time I was working in Japan as a clinician, as an endocrinologist, and then I came here to present my research work. And I fell in love with Portugal. I really like the city, and I really like the vibe that Lisbon has. And there I also found my current research group, Professor Paula Macedo's group. And I was always interested in mechanism of diabetes and insulin resistance. And her research was about the liver insulin resistance and liver insulin clearance in relation to the diabetes development. So I got very interested in her research and I talked to her, and then few years later I became a PhD student under the supervision of Professor Paula Macedo. So it was very different from traveling and living abroad. I felt like it's more like living in a different planet. And in the beginning, of course, the food is different and city is different as I expected. But then what I found the most different is how people social and how people communicate. Like for example, in Japan, we use polite term if you're 1 year older in language-wise. But in Portugal, like we're more flat. I would say like I can talk in a more flat way to a little bit senior people at work or friends, and I liked it a lot. And so in Japan, when we talk with friends or at work, we say sentence, and then after the sentence there are 1 or 2 seconds of silence, and the next person started to talk. But in Portugal, I found that when someone talks at work or friends, and even before the first person finishes sentence, the next person is talking already. So it was difficult for me to find the spot to start talking, even at work or with friends. So for the integration NMS was quite easy because everything was in English. Like I took a lot of course in PhD and I work every day at Love in English. So since the beginning, I didn't have that much like difficulty in communicating or understand the class or have group works. So I think in overall, I didn't feel any difficulty in integrating at Nova Medical School. I think NMS taught me a lot of things. When I started PhD, I wasn't able to make a good presentations or scientific discussion. But I remember my first year PhD class, there were very practical courses. I had like a very intense course. For I think first 1 year, we had a lot of classes. And all the classes were about the very practical soft skill in science. For example, we wrote the grant and we discussed about our grant each other. Or we make presentation the same way as in international congress, and then we ask questions to each other. And we repeated that a lot of time. So I think I acquired a lot of soft skill that is necessary for science, like presentations and discussion and scientific critical point of view. In Japan, when you have a meeting, usually the head of the department talks and everyone just listens to him, usually him, and until the end and just quiet. But in Nova Medical School, in my research lab, we can discuss anything we want. Even if you're a master student or PhD student, you can say your opinion about science to the PI and we can discuss equally. And I really like that active discussion of our research lab. So I was very happy to receive this award because part of this award is evaluated by the written part of the project, and half of it was my presentation. So since the presentation was my weakest point as a scientist, and that's the thing that I practice a lot in my PhD. So I was very happy that I was able to convince them that my PhD project was good enough and interesting for them to give us award. So I would like to stay in Portugal in the future. So I'm originally endocrinologist clinician, so I'm trying to also see patients, go back to hospital too. So I'm trying to get the medical license in Portugal to practice medicine. At the same time, I'm trying to also continue with science because I love science and I have big passion for the science.